Start.
Hello, Julia. Welcome.
Hi.
We'll start in a few minutes. Just waiting for more participants. Hello, Marvin. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, sir. Hi. How is everyone?
Hello. Just let me know when we should start.
Yeah, of course.
And please be the timekeeper for me because sometimes when I talk, I forget to stop.
Yeah, I think we can start. Just let me say a few words, Diliana. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Diliana, who is one of our alumni, to talk more about herself and her experience and her job later. I just wanted to remind you that we are also organizing next week another presentation on campus, and we will have a recruiter from Next Think, which is a software company. He will be on site and he will meet students if they're interested in internship, but he will also talk about the company and their requirements, their recruitment process, and so on. So that's it for me. Thank you, Diliana, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much for the invite. I really am glad to take this opportunity to speak to some of IOG students because not long ago I was one of them, and I know that we only did maybe a couple of career, let's say, webinars. There weren't webinars actually, as we spoke, they were physical, like seminars, but I found they were really useful for me. So I hope that what I'll tell you today is going to be useful for you. Disclaimer, I'm not a recruiter, so I will give you mostly my experience, and then I'll talk to you about my employer, so about Procter & Gamble, about corporate culture, so what we count on in corporate culture, and then I'll tell you about the hiring process, some global career opportunities that we have right now. And I will be very happy if we turn this into a discussion. So stop me if you have any questions, if anything you want to spend more time on, and I'll do my best to answer you if something that I don't know. Because it is possible if it's very deep into the HR processes. I will check and come back to you if needed. Okay. So I will start sharing my screen. And let me know when you see it, please.
We see it.
Okay. And another thing, there are a couple of videos I'm going to be playing. So if you don't hear sound, stop me again. I'll try to fix it. Okay. So first of all, just to tell you a bit about who I am, and then go into the professional. So as you already know, I'm an alumni from IUG. I graduated in 2016 with MBA in Sales and Marketing. And before that, I have a bachelor in public relations and communication 2 years prior. But around actually my studies and my family, I have lived in many, many places around the world. First off, I was born in Brazil, in Rio. Then originally, I'm Bulgarian, so I then came back to Sofia. Then I studied in Brussels, then in Madrid, then in Barcelona, ultimately in Geneva. And since then, I've been in Bulgaria for the last 5-6 years. And therefore, because of that, one of my hobbies is actually to learn languages. So I speak Bulgarian, English, French, Spanish, and looking forward for more. And this is one of the things, whether it's languages or anything else, just my advice to you is just have a hobby that you really like and take care of it, because it really works for the peace of mind, especially during times like we live nowadays. So just a brief thing about the master's I got from IUG. It's something I've told previously when I spoke to staff in IUG after I graduated, is that I actually find that it equipped me with very thorough understanding of the business universe and the actual experience that we had practicing some certain cases in the masters. It helped me a lot when handling real life business cases and trying to turn them into opportunities. So just after graduating, just a short couple of months after graduating, I landed on this first role with my current employer. And it was actually a key account manager. So with P&G, as you know, it's the field of FMCG, which is fast moving consumer goods. And it's very dynamic. And for me, it's very exciting as well. So now, actually, almost 5 years later, after I graduated, not almost, I graduated in November. So it's exactly 5 years later. Whenever I'm in doubt, I still refer back to some of the course materials that we had before, because weirdly enough, most of them remain relevant today. So despite the changes in business context and, all the contexts around us that are changing, a lot of the material remains relevant for me. So a bit about my career development so far in P&G. And then I'll tell you about my current roles, because there are a couple. So as I told you, I started in 2017, beginning of 2017. I landed on a role as key account manager, and I was handling the cash and carry channel in Bulgaria. And I was handling the entirety of the P&G portfolio there. These are, when I'm saying entirety of P&G portfolio, it means something, because we play in more than 10 categories. So I was handling all the brands. And I'll tell you later, it was a bit, challenging at the beginning, because from no sales experience professionally, no actual sales experience, from day one, I was handled my own business, which was back then, it was about 15% of the total country business. And I had to lead it myself. So it was really, really challenging and really nice, actually. Then the next year, I expanded my role by handling as well the drug channel in Bulgaria. But now after that, we got segmentation. So I handled only the grocery part of the portfolio, meaning for P&G in Bulgaria, this was detergents, softeners, hand dishwash, auto dishwash. Then it was all-purpose cleaners like Mr. Proper. And then we had also diapers and feminine hygiene products. And then after a year with this mixed channel setup, I got the role of shopper-based design manager for SE Central, meaning I was handling Bulgaria, Serbia, and the small markets between them, which are North Macedonia, Albania, Montenegro, Bosnia, etc. I'll tell you a bit more what it means. Then next year, I was promoted still on the same role. And now this year, I have another role on top of that, which is handling the store development organization for Bulgaria. and I'll tell you a bit about this as well. So in terms of SBD management, shopper-based design management, what it entails. Basically, in this role, I'm preparing category projects of how our categories should be shelved in the stores in a way that it makes, first of all, shopping easier and more enjoyable for the shopper in the store. Second, it drives category sales. And third, for us as P&G, it increases profitability. And this is a very complex puzzle, actually, to do, because we take a lot of data points for each category, each customer combination, to build on that. And we use, first of all, the category expertise that we have gained for so many years working those categories we play in, many of which we are leaders. Then we also have very deep understanding of market and consumer by external, but also in-house research. We have retailer-specific data because we have a good relationship with our retailers that we work with, so as partnerships. So they provide us with data that we can use behind helping them grow. And last but not least, I am one of only 2 people in my regions to be certified shopper psychology expert. So we use a lot of psychology as well in making these proposals. So it's something that I'm really, really passionate about and I really love. So this is one of my hats. I have another hat, which is the store development organization management, which is responsible. This role is responsible for our actual execution of our strategy in the stores, because ultimately execution is the only strategies that our consumers see. So we need to make it flawless. And through this team, I manage a team of about 70 people, which are working on the field, such as supervisors, merchandisers, which are responsible to stock up, arrange all the shelves, and to implement the centrally agreed sales fundamentals that the customer teams agree with their counterparts. So we are also responsible for all the scheduling, training, supervising, developing, reporting of those people, in order to ultimately keep on top of the competitive edge we have on the market. So this is about me. I'm not gonna bore you anymore with the details on those. So just if you have questions, I can answer them. And then I will go on to tell you more about the company, about the culture. And then I also have a small quiz, seeing how we can learn more together. So first of all, thank you for joining today. And I will start with a brief video, which presents a summary of what P&G actually stands behind. And then I'll tell you a bit more about the company and the opportunities. Okay, so a lot of brands you know, right? Most of them I think you recognize. I want to start by telling you just a little bit about my experience at P&G for my first day, so my day one. As I told you, I'm part of P&G Bulgaria, And you should know that the sales organization there is pretty small compared to other markets. So we are about 30 people sales organization. And based on that knowledge, a few key things I remember from my first day is that actually when I arrived in the morning, the whole team gathered around me and they invited me to go together to lunch and to get to know each other. And I was really surprised because it was not my first work experience. I had worked in different fields before that. And never have I ever had such an experience where everybody genuinely, shows so much interest and they want to get to know you and they want to build a personal connection with you. So first thing that really surprised me. And second thing that surprised me is that on my first day, I already got news that my first business trip had already been planned for me, and I was leaving the next day. So the next day I left for our headquarters for the cluster, which is in Bucharest, Romania. And the next day I left and I spent the good part of the week there. So I spent 3 days there on what we call the New Hires College, getting onboarded by the company on bigger processes and more general topics. So basically it was a bit overwhelming because of the people, because of the too much information that I got, but it was so interesting and I still keep this day as a memory because it was like it was yesterday. So my day one story, as dynamic as it sounds or as hands-on as it sounds as of the start, it is also kind of typical of everyone who joins P&G, because we are first very team-oriented and we build a lot of trust between us, but we also trust between ourselves as leaders and as people, giving real business responsibilities as of the start. So if it's something that you're interested in to work this way, your journey to your day one at P&G can actually start today. And that's why over the next hour, I will be sharing more about what it's like to be part of the team. But first, I want to have some fun in getting to know our brands. So I'll ask you to just unmute yourself and participate. And I'm sure if you don't know something, it's absolutely okay. Just give me some estimations, some answers that come as a gut feeling. So let's play this game to learn more about P&G. So how many consumers' lives do you think that P&G's products touch? So by how many consumers are our products used?
Of course, you're allowed to write on the chat.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to see that.
I can tell you if there is anything, but for my opinion is 2 billion, as well as Marvin said in the chat.
Okay. I will not give you a hard time. It's actually 5 billion. And just to take a step back, on this earth today, we are 7.8 billion people. And that means that our products are in the hands of over 70% of the world's population, which is huge. Okay, let's keep going. What is P&G's largest brand with 9 to 10 billion in sales? Any guess of a big brand you know of P&G?
Head and Shoulders?
Okay, good guess, but it's not the answer. Okay, the answer is Pampers. Pampers serves 25 million babies in more than 100 countries, actually. Moving on, next one. Which brand is reinventing a better clean to reduce water and energy usage by 50%? Any guess? I don't know if anybody's writing in the chat because I don't see it now.
Not for this one.
Okay, I'll give you the answer. It's Ariel, actually. The aerial ambition is to consume 50% less resources, such as water and energy, and also driving product, service, and packaging innovation. So actually, by next year, the goal is to make all aerial packaging recyclable and to reduce by 30% the plastic packaging by 2025. So we are talking here about really close goals. And last question I have. What do these companies that you see on the screen have in common?
They're American.
Okay. Probably. I'm just not sure about Clorox, but the rest, yes. Actually, what they have in common is that all their CEOs are P&G alumni. So in fact, we have one of the largest alumni networks of current CEOs in the world. We actively manage our alumni network to ensure that the connections and the networking which happens from your first day, it never ends after that. So what we do is that we try, when people start and choose to work in P&G, they're taking a step to what will be a very marketable and prestigious career after that. And of course, all the networking that goes along with it. So this one is probably going to be a bit more difficult, so I'm going to skip it. But here I'm asking you to connect the brand to the tagline, so to the slogan. I'm just going to play this one quickly, so we don't dwell on it too much. And now I'm going to more into the company. So the truth is, actually, all the brands that we discussed and many more, they're very remarkable in a way because they serve many markets, many consumers. They might change a bit in visuals and in the way they operate in different markets. But working in P&G, every day we get to make impact on how the consumers experience our brands. And we're not only a company of leading brands and innovation, but you're going to see what else we count on a lot. So not only brands and innovation, but we're also a community of leaders. So behind every product is a team of highly intelligent and motivated people. And it's their technical expertise and innovation that backs actually everything that we do. And something more about us and the people that work for us. So as you know, probably, our brands are trusted in millions of living rooms, kitchens, utility rooms, bathrooms, etc. And they have also been passed down from generation to generation, such as, for example, with the Gillette razors, etc. So over the course of more than 180 years, the brands, they have challenged convention, they have led innovation, and they have helped shape culture. So I wanted to play you one video of, we have many like that, but I picked this one because she says something that I really like. So let's hear more about this testimonial of one of our people, why they decided to stay in P&G.
We all have our dreams coming out of university. Mine was to build brands. And so when I was walking in my college hall and I saw an advertisement for a financial seminar at Procter & Gamble, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to get some insights from the best brand builders in the world. Imagine my excitement when that application led to a job offer by P&G. My family played a real foundational role in my life. Given that they were very familiar with the biases that women faced in our part of the world, they viewed education as the best tool they could give me to lead my life. So when the job offer from P&G came, my parents were opposed to me joining the company because they wanted me to go and pursue higher studies. 5 or 6 years later, I experienced the most embarrassing moment of my life because my father told my boss that he thinks that I should leave P&G. At that moment, my boss laughed and he explained to my father that I already have an MBA from the best business school in the world. The reality is that over a period of 30 years, you don't really have one career. You have several different careers. I have worked in local offices in Athens, Greece, in Paris, in France. I've worked on global roles in the hair care category. I've worked on our paper products in Europe, in India, Middle East, and Africa. I've met my husband. We've made dual career choices together. We've had our 2 children. But in all of these moments, P&G has supported me and enabled me to learn and grow every day. I truly appreciate the fact that P&G has always respected who I am, always respected my choices, and offered me growth opportunities that are consistent with my true self and with the choices that I have made in life. I am Rania Shamoun, and this is my P&G story.
So a couple of things I liked very much in this video. First one was something that I have said many times even before seeing this video, and it really resonated with me, is that for me, joining P&G is like a second master's. So the first one is much needed to enter there, but the second one, it's going on and on and on, and you're learning on the job so much every day, so that I feel that I'm continuing my higher studies while I'm there. And the second thing is that throughout time in P&G, you don't only have one career, and you have many. And you can see this also by what I told you about myself at the beginning. I've been only 5 years in the company, but I've already switched a couple of career directions, and I'm really glad to be able to do this, so to gain a bigger scope of expertise. So we talked about what we do, and it's really pretty amazing, but I want to take a moment and talk about how we do it. So think about when P&G was created more than 180 years ago. Think about where was humanity at this point. So in 1833, it was still a time when most of the world was traveling by horse or by cart. So cars were still 50 years away from being invented, even more than 50 years. It was also a time when the world was lit by candlelight, and it would be almost 50 years until Thomas Edison lit the first light bulb. So at this time also, life expectancy was around 35 years, and infant mortality was at times as high as 30%. So also just a couple of facts. So you put it together when the company was created. So France was in revolution, the July Revolution, and it was still a time when the Ottoman Empire was ruling much of Southern Europe. Can you imagine how a company that was founded this long time ago, how does it stay relevant through world wars, famine, globalization, and even now during COVID times? The key to everything is that we change, and we have this ability to adapt over our existence, which makes us still relevant today. And we adapt through 3 key pillars, which I'm going to talk more about, which are investment in people, our ability to innovate, and our values. Because we are a company of firsts, actually, the first to bring fluoride toothpaste into the market with Crest, the first to create the affordable disposable diapers with Pampers, and the first to produce the world's first shampoo bottle made up of 25% recycled beach plastic, which was done with Head & Shoulders. So to change the world, we learned early on that we had to change with it. And our commitment to values, to innovation, and people, as we will explore together now, are the constant things that make us relevant today as we were back when we were created. So our strategy is focused on winning with consumers, and we have a portfolio of brands in daily use categories where performance drives brand choice. So within these categories, we have superior science-based products delivered with superior packaging, consumer communication, retail execution, and value in all price tiers where we compete. But I will start by talking a bit about people growth. So very fundamental to our ability to stay relevant, as I said, is the people. Every employee, whether it is an intern, a plant manager, engineer, or whoever it is trusted with to lead their business as of the start, as it was also my personal example. So we take leadership very seriously, and when you decide to work for us, you're making a commitment to your own development that will serve you in work and also in life. So as current students, you've made a very significant investment already in your education. And choosing an employer whose culture helps to coach you and to develop you brings this further. So in my opinion, when we're talking about ROI, this is the best you can get. We give you actually in P&G experience starting from day one that builds your potential through real decision-making authority that you're given. And we provide also frequent opportunities for talent to move across brands, across geographies, and to tackle new challenges. So you don't stay on the same position and get bored to your life forever. And we also provide you with a lot of training, a lot of mentorship, a lot of support needed to balance personal growth and also professional development. Because, of course, like with any company, if it takes care of you, you take care of the business, right? So the one thing that's very important, I think, to remark is that the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. And I really like this one because in P&G, we believe that each person is accountable for their own growth and for the value creation they do. So being in school today, you know this is true, and you're spending a lot of time, of money, and of effort building an education that will give you the life you dream of. And in P&G as well, we don't want you to settle for anything less. So in fact, we do everything we can to help you double click on these things that you want the most. And how we do it, again, as I told you, nonstop, constant learning on the job via trainings, via mentorship programs, etc. And we also train our people to embrace a growth mindset where they can welcome challenges, they can recognize the opportunities that are linked to them, and grow at every corner, every turn. And what is, I think, most important is to remain curious about your work and use the setbacks as stepping stones to professional development. Because when you think about it, making the decision on your first job after you graduate from university, it can be the difference between the person you are and who you want to become, so your future goal. But whatever your choice is of employer, just pick one who makes it their job to invest in you as of the start. When we talk about the different pillars, so the next pillar, innovation, one key thing that I learned as a concept by joining P&G was what you see on the screen, so constructive disruption. We actually operate in the perpetual state of disruption, which is basically predicted by our environment. We all live in this environment today. So we have thousands of startups that form every day. We have digital media that keeps growing, but the trust sometimes towards this digital media is eroding. We have the workplace that is getting overhauled with data, with analytics, with technology dominating all the ways that we do business. And also, very importantly nowadays, we also have the disruption that COVID brought to how we entertain and how we socialize, and it has created a lot of opportunities for businesses to rethink how we live and work. So what we do in P&G regarding this is we believe the best way to deal with disruption is to lead it, but to lead it in a constructive way. Because constructive disruption is actually very, very intentional for us. Some people think that it has a negative connotation when you say disruption. Because disruption, you may think it means to destroy or to erode value. But we strive for the harder task. So our job is, as market leaders, to disrupt in a way that drives the growth and it creates value for the consumers we serve and in the categories that we compete in. And there's actually a quote of our CEO, latest CEO. So this is by David Taylor. We are currently in transition to our next CEO, who is John Mueller. But this is a quote from David Taylor. And it says that the best way to deal with disruption is to lead it, so in a constructive way. Whether it's driving lean innovation, reinventing brands, leveraging data and digitization, or transforming the supply chain, any area of business, we are committed to rethinking everything that we've done over the last more than 180 years. And for me, there are two things that stand out in this statement. So the first one is that to see the constructive in the disruption, it requires someone who can act, not just react to disruption, and to be able to find the silver lining. And it's as much a competency as it is a concept. And the second thing that stands out is that the call to lead the disruption. So in P&G, we very much center around developing future leaders. So we look to all of our employees, who are about 97,000, by the way, to exemplify leadership in everything that they do every day. And last thing but not least is values. And I'm going to go a bit more quickly through that because I see that we're ahead with time. So I was going to ask you, what kind of values do you look for in an employer? Do you check the values of companies that you apply for? Is it something that matters to you? It's okay if it's not. I mean, for sure, I have applied in some companies back in the days, and I didn't think of checking that. I was just, looking forward to gain some experience and then start being picky. But what I want to tell you with this slide, besides from what are the actual values of P&G, is that actually what drives our ability to accomplish so much is that regardless of if you are in Belfast or in Baghdad or in Geneva or in Bulgaria, we all operate with a deep connection to the values, and they're valid and really, really like the basis of everything we do. So the circle that you see on the screen around the values, it represents the consumers, our people, so the employees and the brands. And the purpose unifies us in a common cause and growth strategy of improving more consumers' lives in small but very meaningful ways every day. And today our values mean more than ever before, because with COVID, we had to pivot very quickly, and our values of integrity and passion for winning trust ensure that no matter where you are safe, whether it's at the plants or empowered to work from home. For example, during COVID in Japan, we were able to successfully onboard 50 new hires virtually during the start of the pandemic, leveraging the strength of the infrastructure and the ability to mobilize to a virtual workforce very quickly. Or in Argentina, we had our enthusiastic dance colleague who held the local Zumba classes at night to help connect the employees, the family, and the friends, virtually, of course, while honoring the social distancing restrictions. So we create equal opportunity across the globe. And in fact, we outscore other Fortune 500 companies on the factor which is called employees have the opportunity for successful careers at the company. So this is something that we're proud of. And now I'm jumping to tell you a bit more about the hiring process and the internship experience in P&G. And I will tell you in just a couple of slides that there are 4 life-changing advantages for every intern at P&G. But first of all, I will take some time to show you more about the so-called P&G CEO Challenge that we hold each year. It is a competition between students from around the globe, which tests their aptitude for business strategy and solving real-life problems. And this year, so upcoming year, 2022, the brand that the CEO Challenge will be focusing on is Head & Shoulders. And actually, if you've been eager to demonstrate your ingenuity and your intelligence beyond the university campus, this is a very good chance to do it and to make an impression on a global scale. Because what happens in this CEO competition is that you actually compete with teams from around the world to see who is most fit to be the next CEO of P&G. And top students will ascend to the global final and will win the opportunity to meet the new P&G CEO, John Mueller. But first, they showcase their abilities to think critically and to think about how they would themselves lead a brand. And the competition is held virtually in virtual rounds against the best people in your region to win a place in the virtual global final, which will be in May 2022. So basically what you do via this challenge is meeting students from around the world, networking also with leaders from P&G. And the official winners, besides from meeting the CEO, they will be also invited to this Signal event that we hold every year, where they will join the company executives, the founders, and all the industry disruptors at this event, which is actually our most exciting event of the year. And it's a very, very, very interesting thing. I've been actually advertising this event every year since I've joined P&G because it's really interesting and it's very, very interactive. Now, because of the pandemic, the setup is virtual. But before that, it used to be physical, and the teams that were competing from universities. We flew them to our expenses around the world because each different stage of the competition was held in a different location in the world. So we had, I don't remember exactly the places, but it was cross continents. And we were flying people here and there to compete. So it was really nice. I'll give you just a brief overview of the CEO Challenge in the next video. If it's something you're interested in, you see the link on the screen, so you can just type it into your browser and you can learn more on the link. I'm moving on the video. Okay, so this was it about the CEO Challenge. It's something that happens only once a year and it's global. And now I'm moving on to give you some more details about the internship experience in P&G. Of course, if you're an experienced professional, you can still apply. But I will give you just more details on the internship, and then later on the next slides, you'll see the hiring process, which is absolutely the same when it comes to internship or a permanent role for a more experienced person. So I gave you a hint before that there are 4 things that are really critically different for people who started P&G and for people who take up an internship. So the first thing is, as we touched upon earlier, is the challenging and meaningful work that you have as of day one. So whether it's an intern or a new hire, you have your own challenging and meaningful work that you will lead by yourself and that makes a real impact. So As you immerse yourself in the ever-changing needs of the global brands and consumers, you have actual impact on your customer or market. And you'll be challenged every day to create innovative solutions as you lead your work. So from day one throughout the whole career. Second thing is this world-class learning and leadership development that I told you earlier. We develop the skills through on-the-job experience and training. And you'll also be surrounded by world-class leaders and highly talented people who will mentor, challenge, and coach you into the leader you want to become, and also into the leader of tomorrow. When I mentioned the third point, which is global leadership, it's important to note here that P&G employees are recognized externally as some of the world's premier leaders, and for over 170 years or more of leading innovation for new brands, technology, and work. So P&G is best known for building leaders and leadership brands. So this is something that for sure looks very impressive on a resume. And fourth thing that you see here is that we are inclusive, and we have this built from within culture with our PVPs, which means purpose, values, and principles. And here what I can tell you is that you'll experience a culture that sees you as our most important asset, because it is in our people and the culture of the company to extend and to build trust, to be inclusive, and to develop leadership and other key skills, of course, depending on the role. So important thing here is to clarify what it means that we are promote from within company. Actually, for higher roles in the company, higher level management roles, we don't hire from the job market. We actually promote people. So you start and you grow through the company. And because of this culture, we must continue to hire the best of the best and then coach and develop the talent internally. So we can't rely on other companies to build the talent skills and then and build their experiences and then just take them to work for us, as many actually of the companies do on the market. And then we have a couple of points of parity that I'm not going to dwell on, which are flex at work. So your ability to choose when to work from the office, when to work from home. And of course, our sustainability and social responsibility, because we are very committed to social, environmental, and economic sustainability now and for the future. And our purpose, values, and principles guide us through doing that. So how to apply in P&G? The easiest step you can take is that you can visit pgcareers.com and see all the available opportunities for the region that you would like. So this is the first place to go. And now we are going to walk through that process together, the whole hiring process. So overall, there are 3 steps. First, search for the requisition for the job that you're interested in, and that's most relevant to your profile. And then when you find it, you should create an account and fill in your application details. It's a process that takes about 15 minutes, and it requires basic data about yourself, about your studies, something like a CV. So think of it as uploading your CV into the system. And then after that, we have a second step, which is the so-called peak performance assessment, which the goal of this is to assess your background, experiences, and interests, and also work-related attitudes that you have. And it measures basically your compatibility against P&G competencies to define whether you could be successful in this job performance. This is a test, online test, that takes about 20 minutes. And you can take as much time as you need to complete it. It's not timed. So when I say it takes about 20 minutes, it's that most candidates do it for 20 minutes, but it's not timed, so you can take your time. And by the way, it's available in over 20 languages, so you can take it in the language that you're most at ease with. And then it measures basically the raw processing power and the ability to learn in a complex environment. So it's delivered completely online, and it includes also a brief series of cognitive ability assessments, which is the whole step 2 is fully mobile enabled. And I mean, it's nothing too complex. And then if you successfully pass through step 1 and step 2, you are then invited to interviews. In the interviews, because I'm also in P&G, I'm a certified interviewer, so I lead this process of interviewing talents. I can tell you more about this, but the most important thing you should know is that usually in the interviews part, there are 3 interviews that are exactly the same in structure. They're just led by different people in order to eliminate any possibility of a bias in opinion, although the system of grading a candidate is very, very strict, so it doesn't allow for bias. But the only purpose of having these 3 interviews is so that you can gain the perspective of several different people to interview you. And then what the interview is that we use a combination of behavioral-based and situational questions to get to know you a bit better, because we believe that your past performance can predict future success. And these interviews is also what you can use as a very good time to interview us as well. So to ask us any questions that you might have on the role you're applying for, on the company, or anything that's on your mind. And just to sum up, to keep within the time frame that we scheduled, I just want to thank you for your time today. For me, it's been a pleasure to share with you something more about P&G, about career, about innovation, values, and talents. And I hope that you will join us either in P&G or as a consumer through our path of this constructive, creative disruption that I told you about. So with this, I'd love to address any questions that you might have. So if any questions, just shoot.
Yes, I would have one question. So, I mean, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I mean, I got to understand more what P&G does. I'm doing my master currently in international management, and I'm finishing next year. I would really like to work for P&G because, I mean, as you said, it really helps you to grow from the personal point of view as well, not just professional. But I wanted to ask you, just like from your point of view, like you started as an intern, or you started like with a real, I mean, job or intern? I didn't really.
Back in my day, I didn't start as an intern because the structure of the organization in Bulgaria was going through some changes. And actually, they initially wanted to hire me as an intern, but then they had this role that freed up. The person needed to be promoted. So the role of the cash and carry channel that I started got freed up, and I was more needed there than doing an internship. And actually, I started as of day one with a permanent role with a permanent customer, etc. But what happens now in my market and in most markets is that people start either as interns or as trainees with a 6 to 12-month contract. And then most of the cases, of course, depending on performance, but most of the cases, it's something that then turns into a permanent role. However, important to note that whether you're an intern or a, let's say, permanent full-time hire, the difference between what you do is zero. I mean, the work you handle and the authority you're given over your business to lead it is the same. So never imagine that in P&G you'll just be given something to read or to bring coffee as an intern. No, you get hands-on.
Yes, some companies it happens, but basically you have the same amount of work, the same workload.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so what would you suggest for someone, for example, like me, that is interested in I mean, starting as an intern, because as a first position, as a first entrance, let's say in the company, of course you would start as an intern. So apart from like applying to all the job offers I'm interested in, what would you suggest? Like some skills that are, I don't know, like transferable skills that are actually required by the company? What would you
Well, I
suggest?
can tell you that the company looks a lot for not so much for past experience or you being able
Because
to
I don't
commit.
have past experience. I mean, like I'm just studying, so I really had like few working experiences. So I think I thought this could be like a limitation, you know?
No, for sure it's not. I can reassure you on this one because as I told you, coming from the fact that we are a company that promotes from within, we are very specific about hiring candidates as of their graduation. So fully aware that most of them don't have any working experience. And what we do, as I mentioned earlier, this being my third university, is we provide all the necessary on-the-job training and everything to develop you into the talent that we need working for us and that we want. So ultimately, we're in the interview process. We're mostly looking for skills and for attitudes rather than experience so much. It's not something so crucial.
Okay. And like whenever you send an application, how much time do you have to wait until like you receive any kind of feedback normally? Is it like
Usually it depends on the market. In
okay,
bigger markets, it might take longer. Currently on the market I'm working in, so in Bulgaria, from your online successful application to the first interview, it takes no more than a week. But depending which
okay.
market you want to focus on, for sure it's not something that takes long time because we as a company as well don't want to lose talents and time. So it should be relatively quick.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Do you guys have any other questions for me?
Yes, I have a question. I just want to know if the company would be able to support me still being in school while doing the internship because I still have one more year to enter my master's.
Well, what happens with people who still have not graduated, and if you are studying throughout the day, throughout the working hours, is that we try to schedule the internship in a time where you are off university, for example, either in the summer or in some longer vacation or time off, so that you can start and see whether you like the company and whether, of course, the company likes you. And then if this works well both ways, so you like the role and the company and we do like you, then we always keep you in mind. And when you graduate, we have a space open, an idea open for you.
Okay, thank you. That's
Welcome.
the only question I have.
I see a question in the chat. How did P&G help you grow personally and further? I like very much this question. Just a question. Another one? Okay, my email. Okay, I can give you some contacts in terms of recruiting. I can give you some contacts that will be more useful for you than mine, but as well, I can share mine, no problem. In terms of the question, how P&G has helped me grow, first of all, I'm starting from the point number one. So growing a lot by learning more and more on the job every day. I have expanded so much my knowledge of the business world, of how it functions, what are the opportunities, how is the economy growing, what are the possibilities, everything that I'm learning every day is helping me grow as a person because I have a better understanding and I also have let's say better perspective on also what's happening in other fields of the business, not only in FMCG. In terms of how it has helped me personally grow, this is something that I can give you as an example as of relatively recently, maybe 2-3 years ago. I discovered that many of my colleagues were encouraged by the company even before I joined, to take up more hobbies, more personal time off, more work. Even we have this concept of having a sabbatical, that the company allows you to take your time to personally grow outside of what you're learning professionally and on the job experience. So I told myself some years ago, okay, what is my hobby besides from what I already knew? Like, I like learning languages, but this is not something that I can do every day after work. And the company actually made me realize that I don't have like a bigger hobby. So actually being in P&G helped me find my hobby. And now during the weekends, I discovered that I really love handcrafts, and I love painting and doing stuff by myself at home. So this is my new thing. And it's because of the company that I do it, and that I have also the time to do it, because not everybody in such a busy world with such, big corporations has the possibility to do that. So I'm happy. I feel I'm growing both personally and professionally. And these are just a couple of ways. I mean, I'm sure that I can think of more, but I'll stop at that for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions? If you don't, I just want to thank you so much for participating and being, active in the discussion now in the end. I'm always very happy when I meet people that I can discuss with, because, one-way conversation is not always the best. So I really thank you for that and for being active. And I will provide some contacts that you can reach for career, let's say, opportunities in Geneva. And I wish you all the best of luck. And remember to always keep yourself happy, no matter what you do.
Thank you, Diliana. It was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Don't miss our next events, and I wish you a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Diliana. Bye. Okay.